and Matty Russ.
I'm here.
Back with another edition of the Outlaw Blitz podcast. Buddy, let's get dangerous.
How you doing?
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And actually, before we get started, I brought a couple beverages.
Nice.
You can have some
PBR
or twisted tea.
I'll take a PBR, buddy. Maybe. We're struggling.
Bigger.
Nice. Hey, they're shorter but rounder. I'll take them. Irish crickets.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, now that's the way to start a show. So what'd you do today so far on your awesome 25th birthday?
See, it's kind of sad because I don't know if going to the movies alone is a sad thing, but as you get older, I don't think birthdays mean too much anymore. Like, I have the Marine Corps birthday coming up, and that's more special to me than my birthday.
Right.
I mean, I used to love my birthday back in the day, but now I'm getting 1 year closer to the age that I don't want to be at.
40?
Correct.
30 bothered me more than 40.
Nah, 30 I loved.
Yeah, it was just different. It was like, I don't know, I always thought 20, you were still, in your 20s, you were still really young and you had all this time. 30 bothered me. But then 40, I was like, I'm good.
See, the 20s, a lot of my time was spent in Iraq. And I kind of missed a lot of the stuff, that a normal 20, early 20s, mid-20s.
Yep.
But then when I got back, that was my time. The 30s were good. Now it's slowing down. 40. Like, when you turned 40, did you feel any?
Yeah, I mean, when I turned 40, my kids were all born and all that stuff was there. So I'll tell you one thing, once you turn 40, your body feels different.
My body already feels
immediately
different.
It feels different. It really does. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You figure it out.
Yeah, but back to it. I went to a movie today by myself, which I usually do, but that's, my schedule. So
yeah, yep.
That's the time for me to go, 11, 12 o'clock. But I love it,
And at that time, the theater is very rarely packed.
I was the only one in there today.
Right, and you got a whole theater. I know, but it's still kind of cool. You got like a whole theater to yourself.
Oh, it's nice. And then you can pay for the regular seats and just move into it.
Right, yeah. But it was a shitty movie.
It was all right. Like, I don't know if guys should say that movies are cute, or I don't even know if guys should say cute, but it was like a cute movie, I guess.
They usually save that for like the cute bartender or something like that.
Yeah, I guess. The movie was all right. Like, I love animals, pets.
It was that kind of
comedy about, stray dogs or whatever, but it was good.
It was
all
cool.
right.
Cool. So that's all you were doing today? And then what, mommy's cooking you dinner later?
Gotta love mothers.
A special meal? Is there a special meal for this?
Yeah. She's getting me king crab legs.
Oh, nice.
Which are through the roof now.
I'm sure.
But, yeah, that's my go-to, steak and crab legs.
Oh, nice, man. That's good, though. Like, I mean, that's the good part. You have dinner at night.
And that stuff now means more than...
Right. When you were a kid, you never really thought about it. Now.
Yeah, now I'd rather just have a nice meal.
Right. So, we talked about you coming on, and we had all these things, and you have all these funny stories, and we're talking about even like a recurring role with you coming on at Story Time with Matt.
Mm-hmm.
But let's dive a little bit into, like, coming out of high school, you didn't have like a direction right away, right?
I went to college. Actually had better grades in college than I did in high school. Wasn't too bad, but I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Just no direction.
No
just
direction.
I'm going to school just to go to school.
Pretty much, that was the next step. So at the time, I was going to school for what do you call it? I didn't want to be a cop, but I was going for
like criminal justice.
So I was getting a criminal justice degree. Great grades. Got through about 3/4.
3 semesters.
About a year and a half.
Yeah, 3 semesters. Yeah.
I had 56 credits that I got. All I needed was 4 more at the time.
And you could have graduated for,
And then, a funny story, but I think I told it last time I was here anyway, my recruiting story. But then I ended up going to the Marine Corps.
Well, you tried to go other places first, right? And they wouldn't let you.
Yeah, you want to bring that up? Huh?
No, I'm being serious though. Like,
it was funny because I was big my entire life, growing up, whatever. And then when I went to college, I started losing weight, and I lost weight fast. But I was, being a kid, you can run forever, whatever. And I lost a lot of weight. And then my buddy was in the Air Force, so I was just going with him, to the recruiting station at the time. And I did. He wanted me to go in the Air Force, but first thing the recruiter did, step on the scale, mistake your height. I'm not a tall guy.
Right.
So the Air Force at
putting
the time,
the tape on you.
There was a waiting list because it was right before the war in Iraq started.
Okay.
So everybody didn't want to get drafted, I think.
Right.
At the time, so everybody was signing up for the Air Force. So they told me, keep losing weight. Right now, you're way over the limit, even though physically,
right, you could do all the stuff, but you were over the weight.
Everything. Yeah. So they told me 6 months. So because I'm stubborn and a little pissed off now that he said that, I said, all right, let me go over. I can go check the Army. My father was in the Army. So I said, let me check out the Army. I go over there, same thing. Do some push-ups for me. All right, do some push-ups. Step on the scale. All right. You're still overweight. Why don't you got to lose about 20, 30 more pounds and, come back and see me.
Right.
I said, boot camp is going to take that off of me, I'm assuming.
Right.
I didn't really know anything about the military at the time either. So again, these motherfuckers don't want me, and I'm like, now I'm pissed.
Right.
So I go over to the Navy. Now the Navy was even more strict with the weight than the Army anyway. So I go over to the Navy. They say same thing. Give it about 2-3 months. Come back and see me. Keep losing the weight, and then we'll talk. We can do this, that. I said, but I want to go now. Now you guys are pissing me off. Like, right. I want to go now. I'm telling the recruiter. He's like, well, we have standards, this and that. I said, I actually want to join. What does boot camp do? Like, I don't understand. So whatever. So now I'm pissed, but I didn't want to touch the Marine Corps at all. I at the time, I didn't know nothing, but I knew the Marine Corps was, I didn't think I was going to be able to make anything. I barely made football practice, shit like that in high school. So I'm leaving. I'm leaving with my buddy. And then, hey, where are you going? I turn around, the Marine Corps recruiter.
They were all in the same area, right?
Yeah. And I said, nah, I'm not taking any more rejection today. I'm good, So he's like, no, why don't you come in here? He had one of those pull-up bars in the, in the doorway or whatever. So he said, do some pull-ups. Because at the time, the Marine Corps, that's what they were. Everybody else did push-ups. Marine Corps was pull-ups. So get up there, do a few pull-ups. He shows me the stupid recruiting video. Yeah. Like the boot camp video. Yeah. And I said, if you make me step on a scale, like, I'm not doing this. He goes, nah, boot camp will take that off you. So I was like, you're going to take me right now? Yes. Out of spite, out of a couple different things that happened, little side story. Well, so anyway, I kind of commit. Yeah. And I said, all right, if you're going to take me now, what do I got to do? What's the next step, basically? Right. Let's go take your ASVAB, see where you score for that, then we'll pick a job, this and that. So I said, all right, sign me up for the ASVAB. I'll figure this out. Give me a call, whatever. So we leave. It was that day. My brother was in college. At some point they came back, but we had a dinner. And I said, kind of as a joke to my family, it was my mother, my stepfather, my brother, and me. Sitting there, I say, hey, I joined the Marine Corps today. Just as a joke. At the time, I didn't even know. Just casual conversation. Yeah, like, hey.
I joined the Marine Corps then.
All I got was laughs.
They laughed in your face.
Yeah, right. There's no way. Blah, blah, blah. Next day, his name was Reheard. His last name was Reheard, my recruiter. And I went to him and I said, nope, give me the ASVAB, ship me out, do whatever you got to do, because now I'm going. And it was just a wild ride then, but...
Yeah, I mean, but then you got in the best shape of your life.
Well, then I was continuing, running. Now I knew I was golden. I scored well on my ASVAB. I don't know why I took infantry.
You still ended up in the Navy, bro.
You really want to go there? Listen, it's that joke, but we are the men's department of the Navy. When the Navy needs something done, who do they call?
Uh-huh.
The Marine Corps. When the Army needs something done, who do they call? First
The
in,
other
last
Army.
out. We're not, listen.
The other Army. Listen, we'll always bust, but that's what we do. This happens all the time, regardless.
Yeah.
So you go into that, you get dedicated, you're running, you get yourself in shape, and you really kind of.
I grew up.
You grew up, and you really kind of encaptured what the Marine Corps was about. You're still very proud, veteran. You work. I mean, you run the American Legion and the VFW, and I see you at all these events. So something like that, like somebody laughing at you, did you think it was?
They didn't like it. I don't want to put them on the spot.
No, I get it. I mean, like it drove you to prove people wrong.
The initial Air Force recruiter is what started. He really started by saying, there's a waiting list, but basically you're too fat. In nicer terms, whatever. That pissed me off because I was guarantee you at the time in better shape than the recruiter himself.
Right.
Like I could do everything. I was just big, for my height.
Well, yeah. But then that gave you a drive. You end up giving yourself, getting yourself in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, and then boot camp was a mess. Not a mess, but I was still right at the border of going into a pork chop platoon, they called it.
Yeah.
It was whatever it was at the time for being too big. And I was still losing weight and I was eating right, but I figured I'm going to boot camp, and they flew us to, or I had to go to Albany. And from Albany, they flew to wherever we had a layover. So we got a meal comped. Everybody was eating. There was like 4 guys with me that were, going in.
Right.
And I was like, man, I know I should eat the Caesar salad. But they had pizza. Everybody's eating pizza. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to boot camp. And I ate the pizza and I was like, I don't know if this was a good thing because at the time, I think the weight was like 200 pounds.
Yep.
Where if I was over 200, I had to go to pork chop platoon to start, which meant that my boot camp was going to last
extended,
longer.
Right.
So when I got on the scale, I remember specifically 197. And I was like, oh, thank God. Why the fuck did I eat that piece of pizza?
Right.
Why did I have the pepperoni on it?
Yeah.
But it tasted so good. I ended up losing 43 pounds in boot camp, 13
wow.
weeks. And I had already lost 100.
Right.
Not to get in, but I lost 100 and then another 46. But then when I got back, I had 10 days that we had to do recruiter's assistance. I don't know if you guys did. And then 14 days off before I had to go to my school,
duty station or school or whatever.
Infantry or whatever. And I gained all of it back.
All of what back? The 43?
The 40-something pounds.
Holy shit.
It was bad.
Was it just alcohol or?
No, it was everything. I stopped because
you stopped working out for those.
I mean, in boot camp, in the Marine Corps boot camp,
3 weeks or whatever. Yeah.
3 weeks.
No, I'm saying you were home. What I'm saying, you were home for 10 and then 14. So you had 3 weeks.
I was exercising the whole time, and I knew being infantry, I knew I was going to Iraq.
Right.
Relatively quick too.
Yep.
So I didn't care about exercising anymore. I cared about partying.
Right.
Trying to get in before I leave.
Right.
And then I don't know what to expect either.
Would this be where the shot putter comes in, or is that after?
You want to go there?
I'm not putting you on. I'm just curious. Was this before you?
I think that was
deployed
before,
or after.
That was before. That was before.
Before you left.
Before the first deployment.
Oh,
I was
okay.
in.
All right, so it was after your school. Your
yeah, we get 2 weeks home.
Yeah.
Before you deploy, they send you home or wherever for 2 weeks. And then after deployment, we got 30 days off.
Yep.
I think this was the 2 weeks before.
Before? Oh.
Do you really want me to get into that?
No, you don't have to get into that.
That could be another day, but
yeah.
That'll
be story time with Matt. Yeah. All right, so you go through that.
Oh, you remember that.
You gain your weight back. You gain your weight back. You gain some weight back. Then you go to infantry school. Now, how many weeks was infantry school?
That was 8 weeks, about 2 months.
And that was preparing you strictly, basically, to go to Iraq or Afghanistan.
No. So that schooling was just the infantry school. So if you sign up for infantry, you have to go to Camp Geiger, it was called at the time. And you went there just for you basically learn the weapon systems and concentrate on what you want to do. There you actually pick like which part of it, I don't know how to explain it. So which job you're basically
Which job
have
in the
within
infantry?
Yeah.
Like you could be a heavy
rifleman,
gunner, right, yeah.
Assaultman,
Right.
know, all different things. But usually you have a wish list,
Don't carry the saw. As cool as it is, it's heavy as fuck.
By far, though, my favorite weapon.
Saw? Yeah.
So
it's intimidating just shooting it. You don't need to hear it be shot.
It is. I mean, there's definitely better weapons, but for me, in time of war, I wanted the saw.
Yeah.
Like the saw was just fully automatic. It's a wild weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just to shoot low, like the 50 cal,
right.
The 50 cal going, or the Mark 19, which was that was a fun weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you go through that, you get through the 8 weeks, and then you're deploying almost immediately. Like, where was your duty station? Your original duty station.
After Camp Geiger, right down the road in North Carolina is Camp Lejeune. So that's where I was stationed.
Have you heard about the lawsuit on TV? And did you drink the
There's
water?
Lawsuits for everything. But that was before my time anyway.
Okay.
I don't know if that has any.
I'm just saying it because it's all over the TV every day.
It's every ad.
So you were in Camp Lejeune.
Yeah. So
now what? So like I was the 10th Mountain Division. Does the Marines have like different things like that? Like we had 10th Mountain Division. Mac's wife was like the 101st Screaming Eagles.
Yeah. That's
you don't have any of that.
I mean, we're Tuvalunden or whatever was our like name, but it's not a group. It's not like
Easy Company and
I mean, no. We have.
I mean, obviously you still have companies, but I'm saying like
it
wasn't anything like
not like name stuff like that. But real quick though, when I went to, it was funny because I should have flown, maybe should have driven. I didn't know, but I took a bus from Saugerties, New York, or Kingston, whatever.
Yeah.
To North Carolina to check in to. Yeah, but it actually saved me big time.
Really?
So when I put on the uniform that I got issued to me at boot camp, when I was 43 pounds lighter, and then I put it on, it was not good. Yeah, it was bad. Buttons popping.
Yeah. My
mother had to adjust my belt because it was not good.
It was not good.
I had to check in like this. It was a little nerve-wracking. Then I'm spending 18 hours on a bus before I have to check in, so I look like shit at the time. But I got so lucky because the bus, drops me off, whatever. I get dropped off, and now I'm walking. I don't even know where the hell I'm going.
Right.
And then truck. Now you can't do this now. If you do this now, our time now, it's bad. But in 2003 or 4, whatever it was, I'm just walking with a sea bag.
Yep.
Down the road in my Charlies or whatever it was, the A's, I think. And truck pulls over, says, "Hey, what are you doing? Come here, Marine." So I go over. I know nothing.
Right.
And he's like, "Throw your bag in the truck and get in with me." So I'm like, I don't know. Do I do that? Like,
right.
All right. He's like, "Where are you going?" So he ends up showing me his ID, and it was a sergeant major, retired sergeant major. So I said, got forced into infantry, whatever it was at the time. Not forced, but and he says, "Get in." And he basically, when I checked in, he came in with me. And sergeant major is a tough rank to get to.
Yeah.
Like, he went through his shit, but he fast tracked me right to people that were checking in.
Yeah.
Had to wait in camp guard that I heard, and it was awful. Like, they make you do dumb shit, and then you had to wait to get into your class.
Yeah.
Your school. I got in right away. So when people were talking to me how long did you do camp duty for, or whatever it was?
I'm like, what the fuck's camp duty?
Yeah. And they're like, "You didn't have to do it at all?" No.
What are you talking
about? And he fast tracked me. Now I don't know if that hurt or helped because fast tracked me right to Iraq. I don't know.
I'm sure everybody in that group went to Iraq.
No. Yeah, the infantry at that time, you definitely were gonna. But because of the timing in my contract, I had to do 3, and it wasn't normal at the time. So the way the way it is now, the military at the time was tough because you're deploying, coming back, deploying, coming back. Your mental health. You're not supposed to do that. You're not.
Right.
I spent over 2.5 years, in Iraq
Right.
on one contract.
And 2.5 out of 3, right?
What do you mean?
You had a 3-year contract.
No. We had.
Or did they have a
we're
stop
minimum
loss?
of 4.
Okay.
But so again, I wasn't forced. I voluntarily did it, but I had to go on a third one. But I was going. They were going to make me go anyway,
Regardless.
no matter what.
Right.
But they were going to send me back early, so I would have to go do 2 months, and then my contract would end, and they'd have to send me back to the States. But I'm not going to train. I'm not going to do all that training because the training was a lot tougher than some of the times overseas.
Right.
Like the training they get you, like especially the Marine Corps. The harder you train, the easier it's going to be.
Right.
Once you're over there. But I wasn't going to leave my guys. I'm not going to train with all these guys. And at that time, I had the experience.
Right.
So I was teaching.
Yeah. By your third deployment, you had the experience
of everything, like
right.
patrols, making order, whatever. And I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to go and then just abandon everybody.
Right.
So they didn't force me, but I wasn't going to leave them.
Right.
But
so you go to Camp Lejeune, right?
Yeah.
You go through your basic, you go through your infantry school, you go to Camp Lejeune after. Yeah. How long after that do you deploy? Like relatively quickly?
It was very quick. So
a couple months?
Yeah.
All right. So how old were you at that time?
So I don't know if you're bringing this
20?
up because you remember, but my 21st birthday was my flight to Iraq.
Okay.
That's a shitty feeling.
That is.
Everybody else, when you turn 21, you're partying.
You're ready to party and all
college,
this. Right.
You're doing all that. My 21st birthday, I was up at 2 a.m, not knowing what I was going to get into.
Well, and this was kind of the area I was kind of leading to, is, a lot of people, the grand majority of people, could never say what it's experienced like to go to war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you went as like you said, a 21-year-old.
And I was old. I was older because I went to college first. All these other guys are 18, 19.
Right.
Like when you hear that, you don't really understand though. Like people don't understand that I missed my 21st birthday.
Right.
I missed.
Right. Where you should just be loose and having a good time. You're
supposed to be making mistakes at home.
So you get on that plane, you're 21. You got to be nervous as hell. First deployment. I mean, you train for it. You're kind of, I know it's the sick thing in the head. That's the mentality of it. You train for it. You're raring to go. Like you want action because you've trained for it, and they get you the mentality of it. But when you step off that plane in Iraq, what's the emotion? Like what's going through your brain? What's the emotion in your head?
So we fly to Shannon. Well, we had to stop, and that was all right. We were on like a commercial flight too, but it's all of us. But stepping into Kuwait was the first stop, and then the first thing you automatically know is the smell. So you get out there.
What's the smell like?
Man, it's trash. I'll never get the smell out of my
head. Like Jersey?
Nah, they burn everything. They don't have.
So it's like a burning, when you're at the dump and everything's burning plastic and that kind of shit?
Yeah, you just threw everything, like there's the lawsuits now for the burn pits
that
are coming back. But I kind of believe that you're getting later on in life, I filled so many sandbags, hundreds of thousands of sandbags, and we're making burn pits because that's what we had to do.
Right.
And that's how we got rid of everything. And then if we got, not taken over, but if we had to get rid of shit,
right,
just throw it in the burn pit.
Right.
But that's how they live. They don't have, garbage.
Like disposals and all that.
Nothing.
Not like a dump or whatever.
Nothing. I don't. To be honest,
they don't recycle.
I think they pretty much just burned everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, I know. Like in the Army, you get up and they were burning shit. Like literally, they would burn their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you
that's what the Navy was for.
Yeah, burning the shit.
I mean,
So you get there and you get to Kuwait and you notice the smell right away. But like what when you now obviously you've seen action, we've talked about it away from here. That first time when hey, we're going into something tonight. How did you prepare yourself for that? Like, was there a song you put on? Was there you got to get yourself centered before you go do something like that? What did you do?
I hate saying this because I quit a while ago now, but to be honest, that's when I started smoking.
Yeah.
So never smoked in my life. Always hated it, and then even through boot camp, all that stuff, I was good because I never smoked.
Right.
And then I was kind of pressured into. We had our first major, I don't want to say battle, our first operation,
confrontation, or whatever.
Our first major operation that we were going into. They said just have a cigarette, and I think a couple guys we were passing around cigars, so we just sat around bullshitting like we were supposed to try to get sleep.
Right.
Because once we start, with the intel,
you don't know when.
No. We knew when we were going to start.
No, you don't know when you're going to be done though.
Yeah, so they projected like the first one was like 7 days, something like that. But everybody's confused at this point. We don't know what we should be carrying. We don't know exactly how many insurgents or whatever at the time, like stuff like that. But I started smoking, and that kind of
it settled you,
eased up a little bit. I mean, I was weird. I never really I never thought about actually dying.
You just thought about the mission on point, like whatever.
What we had to do. I know that I've worked hard for everything that I've done. So I was confident in my abilities to do what we needed to do, kind of. And there were times where, like, I was a go-getter. Like, I just did what I could.
Right.
And I did not want to let my brothers,
And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that if you've never been in the military, yeah, you do things for yourself. But when you're in that environment, you make sure you do things to help your brothers or sisters, whatever. You're doing it for them as much as you're doing it for you. Probably more than you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't let them down. And that's what a lot of people misinterpret.
Yeah.
They're too selfish and they don't understand. In them big moments, it's not about you. It's about not letting the person next to you down.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So where you're going.
I'm more nervous for the person next to me.
Right.
Than I was for myself. I wasn't concerned about myself.
Right. So you get your first mission, whatever you're going to do. What time of day did you depart? Like, was it an overnight? Because I know, like, you always want to move in the cover of darkness and all that stuff.
I'm not exactly for the first one, which was at the time it was Iron Fist. It was called Operation Iron Fist or whatever. I think we started. It was probably 4 a.m, I think.
And what was it you were pushing through?
So we had to go through. At the time, it was the last few cities that haven't been cleared in Iraq, for the war. So we knew there was going to be insurgents, but we don't know how many. We got the intel, but at that point, I'm a boot.
Right, you don't know shit.
We don't get it.
Yeah,
just like
boom, it's like, hey, point you in that direction.
Boom down. But we always started in the morning, and then basically, well, I don't even know if I should even talk about it, but we lined up and just cleared the major cities that were left. And then once we cleared, that was that. The biggest thing with those missions were we just didn't know. We carried way too much at the very beginning.
Because you didn't know what to limit.
Like, at the time, I mean, that definitely wasn't as big as I am, but at the time, I was still a solid big dude.
Right.
But then when you pack on all that gear,
extra
ammo,
shit,
water, meals, because we carried water and meals for like the 3 days, I think.
Right.
And that's all on us. And you trying to go house to house. You're in house.
And you're carrying fucking 50 pounds.
And I could barely fit through the doors.
Right.
And like, what the, this is stupid. But then
So before you advance from there, you're going on that first time, and you see your first action. how's that trigger to you? Like, what happens that first confrontation?
Just make sure the person
Like,
next to you is.
what I'm saying is, like, do you go hot immediately, or you guys took fire, or what?
There was always pop shots. You know, you
Right, you're like,
immediately just
oh, they're
take cover.
shooting. Right, yeah.
You know, it's simple. You know, the first one was. I don't want to say it was good, but the first one was like
Successful.
well, everything we did as a unit was pretty successful. You know, but when you first. It was like a good setup for our next operation because the next operation was serious. Everything was serious, but that was rough. So that geared us like we knew what we were doing for the second one.
So you're playing West Kakalaki State in the first one,
yeah.
and now you're going to take on Alabama. Well, not what you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now you're taking on a bigger mission that was a lot tougher,
a lot longer.
But it set the stage.
We knew what we were doing on the second one, so you didn't want to fuck with us, on the second one. But it is.
But I'm just saying, like, here you are, 21-year-old kid.
Well, yeah, like I said,
pretty much a non-confrontational kid your whole life growing up.
Yeah, I was.
And now you're met with people literally shooting at you. Like, what does that do to you?
At the time, I never thought about it. At the time,
it's just plow ahead.
I know my job. I know my mission.
Right.
Like, I know what I got to do, and then I'll think about it later.
Right. So that you get through your missions, and at the end of your first deployment, you come home and.
I'll tell you what. I never had children. I've had a very good life, great family, the whole bit. The greatest feeling I ever had in my life was when I stepped back on L Street in Camp Lejeune, and everybody was there, support. Like this country was it was a bad place because of the war, but we were in a good spot.
Everybody rallied around everyone.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And that was by far, I'm getting goosebumps now. That was by far the greatest feeling I've ever felt in my life, was to be able to just put my weapon away.
Right.
See my family, and I had such great support, which supported everybody around me because I had so many packages sent to me.
While you were over, your dad had that SOS. And I remember, so what year was that?
2004.
Okay, so that was the same time my ex-wife was over.
Yeah.
And my dad used to go to SOS all the time.
Yeah.
And she'd be writing me letters, and she'd be like, I'd say, well, what do you guys want over there? And I remember one of the things I sent over there that they loved was fucking water guns.
Really?
Yeah. I sent over water guns,
yeah.
And it was just something that took their brains out of it.
Brought them back to the States.
It brought them back to, right.
I
socks. There were so many socks.
Yeah, but I needed socks. We needed socks and batteries.
Yeah, socks and batteries every week we were sending. But the water guns were huge. But I remember your dad running the SOS, and my dad would be there every week with stuff.
Packaging.
Yep.
And I got so lucky, and I felt good about it because when mail came, and for my first deployment, it was very rare that I was able to even get a chance. So they would send packages, let's say once a month or twice a month, whatever, or weekly, whatever it was. I wouldn't get those packages. I mean, it takes 15 days, 20 days to get there anyway. But like every third month, I was able to get my mail or go get packages. And I'd have 20 boxes. Like everybody. And I'd see the disappointment on their face, like, Russell. And I'm like, so anybody that didn't have anything, pick a box.
Right. Take a box.
This is ours. It's not mine. It's ours. And
that's how the SOS was really operating. It wasn't for Matt. It was for Matt, but it was for Matt's people.
No.
It was for Jen, but it wasn't for Jen. It was for Jen's people.
And then they would always have like kids writing letters, and stuff like that. And that shit was so uplifting.
I'm sure probably like Cahill School.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, all the local school and just everybody. And then you get these.
And then you start showing them to other guys that don't even know where the fuck Saugerties is on a map.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wow, really?"
Yeah. But another thing to bring up that. So I don't know if you remember the pictures like on my Facebook or anything where I have those boxes with my mother sends me. I think my mother sent me these. It was Rudolph.
Yeah.
Like boxers or whatever.
Yep.
I was there. What people don't realize, like, I was there for a lot of holidays too.
Right, you were there your 21st birthday,
Like,
Christmas.
So in boot camp alone, New Year's, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, I missed.
Right.
And at the time, I loved holidays, and I think that's why now
You're like,
I don't really care about holidays because
right.
I miss so many, and I miss so much family time. You know what I mean?
Especially at a very integral part of your growing up. You know what I mean? Like at that critical point in your life where you're starting to make that turn, you're starting to grow up. You weren't here for them. You were in boot camp, or you were becoming a man. So it's hard to
Yeah. January 1st, 2006. We had just gotten, a couple of us were able to go get, like fresh showers,
right,
stuff like that, and vehicle-borne IED or whatever blows up one of the trucks. Thankfully, the driver and a driver, ended up coming out burnt but good.
Yeah.
Alive, happy. But January 1st, they blow up all of our belongings. So I had cameras that had pictures that I wanted. I had letters. I had stuff like that. It's little shit that that. Now, thank God, every day that day, because I was in the vehicle in front, in the turret at the time. I look back, the two guys were good. Like our guys, it was a company gunny, and then it was his A driver. But, I lost, that really pissed me off that day.
Well, because you lost what was the little bit that was holding you
together,
and what you're right. Your little piece of home was now destroyed.
Gone.
You probably got that turret fired a few more downrange.
I was ready. I was ready that day because then you go through the whole process. You got to set security. You got to just figure out everything. But there's
now
pictures and stuff.
Right. And a lot of guys don't want to say it. They don't open. I mean, some people do. How much were they savages over there? Just relentless disregard for life. How bad were they?
It depends. It depends. They were good. They were good people that we met.
There was good, but I'm saying the insurgents, that people that were coming in,
they don't give a fuck
at all.
At all. So it's really sad that they turn these kids and these adults into savages, because at the time, Bin Laden or whoever was doing it, I'm not him directly, but they take a normal person, let's say like you, that's struggling, all right, and they're going to pay him $500 cash, which $500 cash at the time over there, American dollars, was huge money. So they're going to pay this guy to go plan an ID,
right,
knowing that he's just going to die anyway, because you plan an ID, if you get spotted, you're
getting picked off. So, and if you don't, you're probably getting blown up.
They're either starting them young and turn the way of life is it really is sad.
Yeah.
And then how long before? 17 years or 14 years, I think it was, in Iraq.
Right.
For us, and then Afghanistan's been longer.
Right.
But before us, who they fought, the Russians or whatever.
Yeah.
Beforehand, I don't know. Just that's what they're born.
Yeah, Afghan.
To answer your question, they're a lot of them are just straight animals. They don't care, know. But a lot of them were turned that way. I don't think they were initially
Right, they're they're almost. I would say it's like brainwashed, but it's driven into them from a.
They're definitely brainwashed.
It's driven into them from a young age. This is it. Americans are infidels. Yeah, I'll take it over. But it's driven into their brain like that.
Yeah. They don't know anything else.
Right.
And then the way they live, like I was saying, I don't know.
So, but I'm just saying we're doing a podcast. We're buddies, and we came here with the original idea. Hey, we're going to be funny, and we're going to. But this
was not what I was expecting today.
No, I know, Matt.
No, which
and
is
I get
good.
it, I'm not trying to get that, but I also care for you as a dude too. And I know talking through this stuff helps you get it out.
So I was going to say, before we were talking about me coming on and stuff. It really is. I was looking forward to today. So when you said you didn't know about today, I was like, fuck. You know, because it's an outlet and it's a good thing you're doing,
Yeah.
And then.
Well, the reason I didn't is because today's your birthday. And I'm like, does he really want to come in and talk today?
I did want to come in, so I'm glad.
But
I'm glad
now, if you think about this, like you said, you were 21. Now you're not quite 40. So
very close, though.
To the day you were on a plane going to Iraq. You know what I mean?
It's wild to think about that. Yeah. You remember me as a kid.
Yeah, I remember you as a kid. You used to hang out with my nephew all the time. So, you go through your deployments, you come home. What's the
drinking?
I always told you you're the new Big Lair. So like what's the bounce back? You come home. How do you start getting you back? How do you start getting Matt back and leaving, Gunny Sergeant Russell behind or something?
When I'm out?
Just in general, yeah. Like when you're finally out and you're back here, you're back home. What's the process of you getting back to being you? Like now, to say in the last couple of years, you kayaked, you did this walk, you walked all the way to Albany, you kayaked all the way down to the city from the tip of the Hudson River all the way down to New York City. You do these things for veterans, but it's all part of helping you cope with a lot of the shit you've been through. What is the original, what's the first thing that started you back to getting healthy and back to being Matt?
I'm not there yet.
I know you're not. No. What was
No. So
I know you play softball. You do these things.
Yeah. I know that. So when I first got back, I got the job right away, which I have different feelings about. But that's different story. But I don't think I should have gotten the job right away. I should have taken more time for myself.
Decompressed in a different way.
Yeah. So, and that's just any job. It's not mine specifically.
Right.
It's just I shouldn't have worked right away. I should have taken time for myself. One thing that I did that was very, very helpful, way more than the guys that I went with realized. But never been to Vegas. And that's where I let out some steam. So I got back.
I've been to a casino with you, bro. You let out steam. I'm like, come on, buddy. We got to get away from this table.
Well,
you just want enough money.
I never gambled in my life.
Until then?
Yeah. I mean, I played poker
Small
and stuff
stuff
overseas, shit like that. But, yeah, not. So I had a pocket full of money, not a care in the world. Because, and at my third deployment, I worked out. I don't know if you remember when I started.
Yeah. Savage.
I was ripped.
Oh yeah, you were buff. Yep.
And I went to Vegas like that, and I didn't care, and it was.
Did you go to the cat house? Come on. Now listen. Now we're turning.
That trip I did.
Not that trip.
No. What do you mean?
Did you get Air Force Amy? I mean, the cat house.
That was later on.
Okay.
But no. That trip was definitely. I let out steam. Now I know that I got alcohol poisoning. We all did because there were 6 of us.
Yep.
Still talk about it to this day because it was just a wild.
Like The Hangover.
Oh yeah. There's some stories from that that'll be later for story time with Matt. There's definitely a couple in there that were wild, like the very first day there. But did I ever tell you that?
Yeah.
That story?
Yeah.
I hit him and almost broke my hand.
Yeah.
But that let out, like I said, more steam. Like it's a process.
Yeah.
But I got back from there. Got started at work. I think working did help. Because I'm regimented. Like
in that atmosphere, it helps because you're uniformed, you're regimented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I needed it. If
an emergency room, you don't know what's next, so it kind of keeps you on alert a little bit, and that does help. A lot of military tend to that career field.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Yeah. But then, what really has helped you really kind of start pulling away from that? You know what I mean? What's helped you kind of get this out and kind of separate yourself from that young guy that did 3 deployments to, this not quite 40 guy that,
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I've been very lucky in my life with support.
Yeah.
Friends, family. We had talked about it once. When did we do that last year? 2 years ago now.
On Veterans Day
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yep.
2 years ago.
2 years ago already. Yep.
But I brought back the VFW and Sarvies, and that made like my father extremely proud. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think I was looking for validation, but that was a huge thing for me, and just being able to help when I can help vets.
Well, you were
every
very
single
instrumental
way.
in bringing the traveling memorial,
I'm not
Vietnam War memorial that came. Right?
Yeah, no. Well, I was part of it, but
Yeah, but bringing it back to Saugerties.
No. Yeah, but there was.
I'm not saying you were the only
me.
one.
Yeah,
I'm saying, but you were a big part of that group of people that
so
brought it here.
I couldn't imagine. Like, we'll get into it with the segments, but I couldn't imagine going to war, especially a war like Vietnam,
right,
and coming back
and getting spit on. Yeah, fuck that.
So the support that I had, I couldn't believe that they didn't.
Well, right. You saw the support. Exactly. You saw the support where everybody was hugging you.
Yeah.
They got the support where everybody was like, even their best friends spitting on them.
Yeah, like,
fuck you, baby killer, or shit like that.
I couldn't imagine it. And so I feel like I got a big
soft spot for those people.
Vietnam vets. And I really do, and I try to help out as much as I can. So, like, I was writing little notes and stuff, but I'm not the commander anymore.
Okay.
Right? But I still help and do what I can. Guide the new commander, stuff like that. But we have a Vietnam memorial in Canton Field that we're going to bring for the Vietnam vets, which everything's approved, ready to go. It's going to be exciting. I think it's June 5th. We're looking at that date yet. That's not next
24.
Year. Yeah. It's not solidified though. That's what.
But that's where you're aiming for.
Yeah. So right across the street, right across from the big pavilion.
Yeah.
That area
where you put the
wall was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's already a spot there, like a little, but we're raising money, and we've done actually very well. That's the one thing I could say about these old guys. These Vietnam.
They know how to
guys.
raise money.
Not really, but they're willing to.
They're willing to go out there. Yeah, because you know why? Because
support.
their memory is finally being validated.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. We're going to try to make it a big event, and
good.
I think right now we're at a good pace. We're at a good thing. Depending on whatever happens here, if I come back on or whatever.
Oh no, we'll have you back on just before.
Yeah, no.
You can promote the hell out of it. Yeah.
The dates and we're gonna have a website soon that you can order, like the bricks or whatever.
Okay.
The pavers.
Yep.
And then put.
So you can buy a paver or whatever. Yep.
But what our intentions are is, so we can make a lot of money, and I don't want that in a bad way, but we can, we'll get a lot of money from these bricks being ordered.
Yeah.
But our intentions are with that money is to. Now, so after Vietnam, we're going to make a memorial for. Even that area is a perfect area.
It is.
But we're going to make a memorial. The Gulf War guys get left out now, bad.
Right, the original Gulf War, 90, 91, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the early 90s. I feel bad for those guys because that was a nasty war too.
Yeah. What? It took a few days. It was still nasty. It was the first time there was a war since like Vietnam.
Yeah. So we want to. Hopefully, when we generate enough money from this, and this is our plan, then we'll move on to Afghanistan, Iraq, and we'll make that area. Hopefully, it works out.
Yeah,
but we're in a good spot.
Good.
So,
but doing these things have helped you kind of cleanse all this stuff that you've been faced with throughout. When you were a young man.
Yeah. Like I said, I got really good
support around you. Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for these guys that do what I did or whatever. And
they have nothing when they come back, or nobody.
Yeah, like, I've been blessed with family, friends, the whole bit. And listen, I bless them too. All right? Because they get stories, they get drinks. You know what I mean? I'm good to my friends and family.
You definitely are, buddy.
So
You definitely are. We just got to sometimes drag you away from yourself.
sometimes, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't plan on getting this into it, but you just, the conversation just started rolling. Usually it's like 10 minutes, a little chatter, and then we get into our segments. But I, anytime you and I hang around each other, I always try to let you vent because a lot of people they don't know the right questions to ask to let you vent because they never were in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I always try to just at least let you be able to vent because, there's venting, but then there's venting, like where somebody kind of understands and can, help you decompress. So I hope it helps you decompress a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to talk about it. I don't talk about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's good.
All right. Well, now we'll get into our first segment. And all right, first segment is top 5 war movies for veterans.
Yeah.
I put it that way because anybody can say, "Oh, the best war movies are this," but you look at it differently when you're a veteran.
Yeah. And when we explain or when I start talking about it, you'll.
So I go 5-1. I'll lead off. I go number 5, Glory, Matthew Broderick, 1989, Denzel, Morgan Freeman. It's the atmosphere of the battle. You know what I mean? Like what will you do for your brothers?
Oh yeah, exactly.
And that's why Glory really stands out as one of the 5 best, movies for me.
Yeah. So my number 5, I got way too many honorable mentions. Like I'm gonna get flack, I know.
Well, you do the honorable mentions at the end.
Yeah, no, I get it. This is very, very tough. But when I like real quick when I look at a war movie, I definitely gear towards
authentic,
the true stories.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Hacksaw Ridge.
Okay.
Because if you see, they turn a lot of these into love stories, which I get. It's just movies, whatever. But when you read about this guy's story,
right?
I forgot the name, but he didn't want to carry a weapon, but he wanted to do something for his country, and the amount of people he saved in a situation that was unbelievable. And when you really sit there and think what this guy did
he kept going back in without a weapon.
Without a weapon.
Right.
And he gets the Medal of Honor, and it blew my mind.
Right.
I watched the movie. It's a good movie,
Right, but then they Hollywoodize everything.
Yeah, because they make this love story out of it, whatever. But to me, it's unbelievable what the dude did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It didn't make my list because of the way Hollywood portrayed it, but I didn't read the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, all of these. Well, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Number 4, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Is it higher on your list? Is it on your list?
It's not.
Okay.
But it's so I have honorable mentions.
Yeah, so Black Hawk Down, the reason being is even though you don't want to get back in that truck, you get back in that truck.
To be honest, I forgot about Black Hawk Down. It's such a good one.
There's so many good movies.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what I mean? To me, he says to him, listen, you don't have to get back in that truck, but I am.
Yeah.
And he looks in the mirror and the guy puts his shit on and he gets back in the truck. Because it's not about you at that moment. Even though you almost died 10 times. You cannot forget your guys that are trapped. Yeah. So that was my number 4. What's your number 4?
All right. So this is what I'm going to get flagged for because it got horrible reviews.
Okay.
All right. But Man Down, it's called.
Okay,
I don't know if you saw it.
Yep, I did.
So at the time, Shia LaBeouf, whatever, who to me is a great actor.
Phenomenal actor.
That movie got such bad reviews. Majority of the people hated it. To me, though, that mental health, that's what I'm talking about when that really shows, to me, like, kind of losing it when you leave, when you get out.
Right.
You go to war, you see all this terrible shit, and it could just be one event.
Right.
Like, they only portrayed this as one event that had happened in the movie, but it's...
right, but sometimes what if it compiles? There's more than one event.
Your brain fucking... You're not meant to witness this. Your life, you're not...
Right.
And you don't know how to
process it.
Process it. You don't know how to process this. And when he came back, And the movie to me hit hard because I thought it was a good movie. At the time, he was going through his shit.
Yeah.
But phenomenal actor. And I don't know. But to me, Man Down was, I liked the movie. I thought it really shows like the mental health aspect of it where these people need help.
But see, you understand it from that aspect where people, the fucking people that are critics of it, they never stepped foot in a fucking in a military boot, in a combat boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't even take them like, I don't know. It just.
But that's why I said for war veterans, for veterans, not war veterans, but just for veterans. My number 3, and I'll probably get shit for this, Behind Enemy Lines.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Wilson. What people don't realize is I that's probably one of if it's not my favorite movie, it's one of my favorite top 3. Yeah. And it says 3 here, and I get it, but here's a guy that didn't really want to be part of it, just doing a mission, happens to see something, gets shot down, and a guy who was kind of aloof and didn't want to be part of the Navy and was trying to write his letter to leave, all of a sudden, a Navy pilot, not Navy Burke, and then, you know what I mean? Here he is fighting for his life on the run through a country that he does, and how people rally around to try and get him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was awesome.
You lose one person,
right.
And then the way they can, I know what you're talking about.
And Gene Hackman was phenomenal in it. Like, he goes against the NATO people. Fuck you, my guy's out there. So I thought that movie was awesome.
Yeah. My number 3, Full Metal Jacket. So you can't go wrong with that. No. As a Marine, you're going to absolutely love that movie. But then that shows a lot of the aspect. You get,
so many people forget that there was a movie after boot camp.
Yeah.
They forget that there was an actual movie after boot camp.
Yeah. So they remember everything about boot camp, but then the actual realities of war and what they went through in Vietnam, was right after. It was a phenomenal movie, and every Marine's going to, agree. I mean, they might have it up
higher or whatever, yeah.
But that's definitely one of mine.
Yep. Number 2, Lone Survivor.
Yeah.
I think we went to the movies to see that together.
I think we all did, yeah.
We did. And that to me was what I noticed about that, and I think you and I talked about it right when we left the movie, was that was the first movie I was ever in where the gunshots didn't sound the same. Remember?
Yeah.
And that was about 4 guys pretty much taking on the whole fucking Taliban.
Oh, yeah.
And if you read the book is, after Navy SEAL thing, the training's been played out so many times. I don't mean played out, but
people don't realize how tough Navy SEAL training.
No, I know, but like after you see, you read so many of it, once you got to the actual mission part of it, they were shooting like 4 versus like 300 and something.
Yeah.
And I mean, and they almost won with 4 guys. But that movie was the first time I was ever in a theater, and not every gunshot, like, you knew this guy was carrying this, that guy was carrying that, and you could feel it. And I just remember when that ended, it was the most silent thing. We all had goosebumps, and people were just like overcome with like, holy fuck, this happened.
Yeah.
This
and
is wild. This is and legit happened.
Then you read the book.
Right.
And that's why when you brought up, or how are these guys, these guys aren't all animals. That village and that village took flack. A lot of people died in that village
to save him.
And they didn't need to.
No.
But they went by.
Because I think somewhere in your body you have an innate ability to say right and wrong, and what's easy and what's proper.
Yeah.
And those people thought this was right, and I don't care what's easy. This guy doesn't belong being, butchered.
Yeah. No, at all.
Right.
And what he went through already.
Right.
Like, the movie portrayed him I love Mark Wahlberg. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a great actor.
Right.
Should he have played that part? Maybe.
No, Marcus Luttrell is way bigger.
A whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, that's a great movie, and it's not even on my top 5.
Yeah.
It's an honorable mention. But
yeah.
My number 2 is Saving Private Ryan.
Well, that's my number 1, so we might as well talk about it.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan is my number 2, but that's another one where Tom
a group
Hanks
of guys rally to go get one man because the parents lost all the brothers. Yeah. He was the last one left. So when you think about it, On foot, they travel across France or wherever, everywhere, to get to this one guy.
And they got him.
And then Matt Damon did a very good job. And then
wanted to leave his crew.
Well, we leave his crew, and then the older guy at the end where he says, "Was I good enough?" Like when it goes from Matt Damon to him, and he sees all the people that died to get him home. That's a lot of weight to carry back.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that was fantastic.
Breakout role for Vin Diesel.
There's so many actors in that movie.
I know that you don't realize.
After you watch it more and more, you're like,
Christ, I forgot Vin Diesel was in there. Or Barry Pepper was the sniper or whatever. Yeah, that was a very good movie. And what's your number one?
My number one is Fury.
Fury.
Another Shia LaBeouf.
The tank.
See you.
Right.
What is his? Is it she or Shia?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was based off of true events, but they had each individual in there was exactly what you would expect, like joining, like being with. So you had John Berthold. What's his name? What's his last name?
The guy that played Punisher.
Yeah. Who was an asshole, that dickhead, but you rallied together. I mean, that was another thing where they set it up. Brad Pitt, I thought, was phenomenal in the movie.
Right, that part where it's going to break down and Pitt's going to stay behind.
He's the only one that said, "You know what, you guys go."
Yeah, and they were like,
and then
nope.
The kid that they hated stepped up and said, "I'm not leaving you."
Right.
You know, and that's what happens. You get hooked on, like, somebody that, like, I don't know how to explain it. So, I'm not going to leave a man behind. You know what I mean? And not like.
And then the person you never thought would step up and say, "Hey, we're not leaving."
Yeah, you guys go.
Steps up,
and then he steps up and says, "I'm not leaving you." Like,
right.
But it was wild what they went through. I thought the movie was intense from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And it again shows you what people go through. Now, regular people are just going to go see this movie, and if you like war movies, it's a good movie. It's action packed, but this is what people went through.
Right.
Like, how do you not?
They literally went through this. You're thinking it's a movie, but it's a true story.
Yeah, like,
people went through these emotions in this moment. Like, what do you do?
Hundreds of people. They had a battalion marching down, and there's 4 of them.
4 of them with a broke down tank.
And it was wild. Great movie.
Great movie. It was
great
so
movie.
Many honorable. Go ahead, just let's do some of your honorable mentions.
Like, I had Lone Survivor, American Sniper, only because that hit home a little bit. You know what I mean? With first good, it was Iraq movie, whatever. That's really it.
Well, because they were on my list, but dude, listen.
There's so many though.
There's so many, and
what's the one with Clint Eastwood when he was Marine? He was the gunnery sergeant or whatever. It's not. I know it's not. Obviously not Hacksaw Ridge. It's
Hamburger Hill.
No. That was a great movie too.
Oh man, what is it?
It's old now. I forget.
Yeah, it is. And there's tons of them. There's tons of movies like that. But these are the top 5, and we keep the list to 5 because you could name what.
Oh, there's a ton.
But if anybody, if you're listening to this and you understand, like, the reason, take it from Matt's point of view, who's seen very heavy combat. These are movies that mean something in a different way.
Yeah.
It's not just pure entertainment. Like, you feel it because that's real.
Yeah.
You feel it to feel it. Like,
yeah, and like my thing is, again, mental health. Like, I got movies that show, that really hit home with that. Like, I like movies that try to show people what we really went through and what we go through. And Man Down, like I said, was, something that everybody hated, but I thought was great.
Right. All right, let's move along to our next segment, and we'll hopefully get some laughs out of this one. All right, 5 crazy questions, sponsored by Scalable Computers via Gmac. Number 1, during a 12-hour crime spree where you would be scot-free at the end of it, what crime would you commit? You get 12 hours to commit any crimes, and at the end, there's not like a purge. What crimes would you commit? and you can't sodomize a horse, you fucking weirdo.
Man, I'm gonna be safe with this, but I'm gonna be robbing banks.
Yeah.
I want that money at the end of it.
I'd be after the gold.
I want that cash.
Yeah.
I want that. I want to be.
And then next year you could just hang. And the next year at the purge, you just do
There's
it.
a couple other things I would do.
Yeah.
But that would be the main one, I guess.
All right. Yeah. Number 2. What character from any war movie would you want to get shit-faced drunk with?
Oh man. In any war movie?
Yep. Like who's one of, I mean, how Gunny from fucking
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
I was thinking that, but I'd like to get drunk with Forrest Gump while he was in fucking.
Yeah, Johnny.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Those two.
Forrest Gump could have been a war movie too.
See, I was thinking about that when we were talking about it. I would consider that a war movie because
it's centered around. I mean, it was a lot of his life, but it's centered around the Vietnam War.
Yeah, and Lieutenant Dan is what he does. Gary Sinise, what he does for veterans now.
Oh, huge!
Wild.
He's a huge supporter.
Yeah, big time.
All right, Forrest Gump or Lieutenant Dan or both.
Oh, I was thinking Bubba too, but yeah, no, I want a party with Lieutenant Dan.
Okay.
He was a wild one.
Yeah. All right, number 3. What's the fiercest animal you think you could kill with your bare hands?
I'm gonna go with a cat.
A cat? I don't know. There's some pretty nasty ass cats, bro.
That I could kill.
You get that life or death thing in you. I don't know, like as long as you had the upper body size thing to it, like maybe a wolf. I mean, wolves are big.
I don't think you're killing a wolf.
A deer,
maybe. That's why.
You know what I mean?
I'll go simple. I'll be able to kill a cat.
I'm gonna go like I'm gonna go like a fish, like a sunny, something like it just bang off the tree.
With a fucking goldfish.
Yeah, something like that. All right.
I'll swallow that motherfucker.
Number 4. Would you rather be able to bang any 3 people you want for a year, or be able to power bomb anyone you want for the next 5 years?
Man, I get bored quick. I'm gonna go with the 3.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know, 5 years, just anybody with no repercussions. You can just power bomb them fucking through a table.
Oh, you're talking about power bomb. I thought you were talking about fucking.
No.
What are you talking about?
3, you could bang any 3 people for 1 year.
Or power bomb
anyone at all.
No.
For the next 5 years.
Listen, I'm banging. I'm a horny gang. I'm banging.
Where's the ladies at? You call Matt. He's single and looking. He's single and looking. All right, and number 5.
Yes.
Well, here goes. This is good. Would you rather date a girl who always farts or always sneezes?
Man, I don't.
You got to really hope.
I want somebody that farts. The only reason why is because
that's just comfortable around you.
Everybody's so worried about farting and stuff like that. But if she's farting, that means I can fart.
Yeah.
And I don't have to hold it in. And then, But what happens when they sneeze and then fart because of their sneezing shit all over themselves? Like,
they snort?
Yeah. I don't care if they fart. I'd rather have a farter. That way I can fart.
There you go. All right. See, that was fun. We lightened it up a little bit.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, it was a quick 5. You ripped right through.
Powerbomb. I thought you meant like fucking.
No, I meant like any time you can just grab somebody and fucking powerbomb them.
Yeah. I mean, that would be fun.
Anyone, as opposed to just 3 people.
Yeah. Nah, I already answered.
All right. Here we go. Last but not least. We have done before. Over and under. These are hard to exactly figure out, over and unders, because you got to know the audience, who's sitting across from you. So number 1, going to the movies alone.
To me, that's so underrated. I absolutely.
Some people think it's like
it.
Oh man, what are you, a weirdo? But in reality, I mean, I've gone to a couple movies alone. I enjoy a movie. I don't have to hear somebody yapping at me or whatever. If you want to go, you can just go, and it is what it is.
And then I don't know. I think you're more focused, and then
Right.
you're saving money.
And if you want your popcorn or whatever, you can just
You can
kind of
do
hang
whatever
out and
you
just get in
want.
your zone and watch the
Yeah.
movie. What difference is it if you do it there or at home? It's
Yeah,
a nice
no, I
bigger
know.
screen, whatever.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
All right, so you're saying underrated.
Yeah.
Number 2, children.
They're so overrated.
I say so underrated.
They're so overrated. Listen, I like kids, like, I've always been great with kids. But when they're young, like, newborns to, like, probably 5 years old.
Right.
Cute, and you can have fun. But once they start getting a mouth, once they start yapping, like, nah.
Oh, so any women that don't have kids, call Matt.
That's tough these days.
Yeah. Number 3, pickleball.
Pickleball. Man.
I will say this. If Herberski, King, and Romero are good at it, it's got to be overrated because it's not a real sport.
I'm going to...
Now,
To me,
I want to play it. I do.
To me, I think it's underrated. Only because now it's become so popular, but now it's a sport for me.
Right.
Now that I'm getting older, I'm like, oh man, I could play some pickleball now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think it could be I haven't even played it, but I think it would be an underrated sport.
They're all over the place now.
It gets you moving and it's fun.
The VFW put money in because they're
going to have
they're just waiting for the nets or whatever. But I think it's a good
It's been fucking 2 years, bro. This town, it's
time.
taken that long to just pave it and put it up. All right, number 4, chiropractors.
They're so fucking overrated. These fucking cocksuckers, man. I never did. I was always told, go to a chiropractor. Go to what's the other thing where they stick the needles in you?
Acupuncture. I'll say that's underrated. Acupuncture.
Go to acupuncturist, whatever. I finally decided to go to a
chiropractor.
And give them the benefit of the doubt. They fixed my back. They did help my back. It did help my left leg, but he fucked my knee up. So now, what do I do? Like, now I have to go get, other work done on my knee that this dude did.
Right.
And then when I tell him, I think you fucked my knee up. Because ever since you did this therapy, whatever it's shockwave therapy, it's called, ever since that area that he did it to is killing me. So now I got to make other appointments for doctors when
get lined up. Right.
Like, fix me. But
right.
Whatever. They're overrated.
Overrated.
Yeah.
So my daughter sent me a thing, and she's like, every chiropractor on TikTok, and the guy's got like a fucking microphone next to a door, because you know how everyone's like these big loud pops, and you're never like that. But it's funny as hell because the kid's like, all right, here's every chiropractor. He's breaking a fucking door. Yeah. It's funny shit. All right, and number 5, and we'll finish it with this: over or under diets.
Diets like losing weight?
Yeah.
They're so fucking overrated. I hate it.
Now, I've seen you blow up and come down. And what is your favorite one and has the best success for you?
The only one I ever did was not Atkins, but just eating no carbs.
No carbs.
It burns everything. It happens real fast. And people say, well, as soon as you get off of it, you're going to gain it right back. Any diet, as soon as you get off of it, you're going to gain, especially
if you don't maintain your, level of movement and all these other things, of course.
The best probably diet is eat whatever the hell you want, but just exercise.
Right.
As long as you exercise.
As long as you're burning more calories than you're taking in.
Sort of.
You're at a negative calorie count.
But I lose a lot of weight fast. I always have my entire life.
Yeah. But you also do a lot of work when you do that. You do like I've watched you go in the gym and just hammer out like an hour on a stair climber and all these things.
I used to this time around because I've lost. Well, I've been cheating the last couple of days because of my birthday, whatever.
Right.
But I've lost already 60 pounds, so I'm gonna go probably another 60. But I haven't worked out at all yet.
Right.
So once I start working,
and you just basically cut carbs and shit out.
Yeah, I don't drink. I drink only water.
Yeah.
And then I'll eat steak.
Yeah.
It's that's the other thing good about it. You can eat as much as you want.
So
as long as there's no carbs.
yeah, diets are. I mean, they're overrated because they are what they are. Like if junk food was health food, if Twizzlers and Doritos were fucking were good for you, I'd look like John Cena.
I'd have so
I'd look
many
like John
abs,
Cena. Yeah, but
15 abs.
what I do notice is if I eat like meat and vegetables, like chicken, steak,
Yeah.
shrimp, and vegetables, and stay. I stay away from corn. I go more like green
Just a lot of
beans,
protein. Well,
asparagus,
the green
greens.
vegetables you can eat, yeah.
If I stay with that, everything kind of goes. And I try to stay away from sodas. And
Yeah.
I'm not a big soda drinker anyway, but like I would go and get a sub and a soda.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking carbs and fucking sugar. So
Yeah.
But what I do for myself when I'm at my best, I give myself 1 day a week. I don't know that I can make it 3 months. I know I can make it to Saturday.
Yeah.
And like that first Saturday, you like go like this, but by the next Saturday, when you don't have carbs, you notice you don't want them. You don't crave them as much.
Once you go a week, let's say,
right?
Yeah, then you're good. You just got to get through that first couple days.
Yeah.
And it's so sad talking about how food dictates your life.
It does.
It's wild.
One of the things I noticed for me myself is when I stay off of dairy, my body feels better.
Oh yeah.
Like my joints feel better. Like when I'm away from milk and cheese, anything dairy, everything feels better for me.
I can't like your last episode. I can't get rid of cheese. I eat so much cheese.
How do you even shit, bro?
Well, so that fake sugar, makes you go. Now there's days I'll go without shitting when I'm strictly just
you're not
meat
fake
cheese.
sugar, right? Yeah.
But when I start eating the fake sugar, which they have so much shit out now,
dairy. Like I said, it's more like my joints and stuff feel.
Yeah.
Not as much. I'm not, and if I eat a lot of dairy, I'm inflamed.
I screwed it up, but if you can stick to the carnivore diet, I heard your whole mental health, your physical health, everything is like top notch.
Yeah.
Like.
And what's Joe Rogan say? You get fucking explosive diarrhea for the first 2 weeks.
You will, because
it's clearing everything
red
up.
meat and shit like that, and you're getting all the oils and whatever you use. But they're eating sticks of butter, at a time.
I'm not eating a whole stick of butter, bro.
If it's melted, I'll drink. Nah, I'm not with you. I won't drink this.
Yeah. He did do that. Do that. So did you have a good time? Go ahead.
I did. No. I have one over under for you.
Okay.
That I'm thankful you didn't bring up. Mustaches. Now look at mine. Take a good look at mine.
That's overrated.
If you could have this, you wouldn't want it?
No.
Just because you can't grow one.
I can grow a mustache.
Yeah, what does it look like?
I can't grow
Carl's?
better than Carl's.
Come on.
Better than Carl's.
This is nice. They're underrated.
Listen.
You got to bring the mustaches back. I wish girls...
Flavor saver. For some people, they are underrated. For me, overrated. Because here's the thing. Mine grows in red.
Does it?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Have you grown it how it's red?
Yeah, I look like... the guy in Stakeout. Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss.
You got to grow that out. If you have a red one, you got to grow that out. Are you kidding me? That would be so underrated. This fall,
I'll grow one out.
All right.
I promise you. I'll grow one out. I'll grow one out. This fall, I'll grow one out.
All right.
Like whatever, no shave November, I'll grow it out.
I want to see this red mustache.
Yeah, it grows out red, bro. Just fucking all red. And my dad's did. My dad would grow a beard out, and he'd have a full red beard. Yeah. It was crazy. So.
That's scary shit.
It is scary. It is scary. It is scary. All right. So usually the guest, that seat brings us home. So, you got to say, are you comfortable saying, for Gmac and Matt, this has been the Outlaw Blitz and all that? You good? You're going to say it? You're going to not fuck it up? Because when he fucks it up, every third episode, he fucks it up.
All right.
So you got to take us home.
All right. I'll take you home.
So tell us.
All right. It's been Gmac, Matty Russ. Bringing it home, taking it down, the Outlaw Blitz.
Take it deep.
Take it deep.